Hi, Nick and Mia. How are you?
Hey, Warren.
Hey, how's everything?
Good.
Good, good, good.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okie doke.
Hey, Warren, how are you?
The installation between floors are not adequate
How
enough,
you doing?
especially in the form of building. These are some people don't want
How's it going, Warren?
consideration since they are one big building pulled together.
What are you
And
listening to?
I think we should mention that in our stuff. What do you think, Fred?
Can't hear him.
Yeah, I mean, when you go from the inspection,
Good evening.
My headphone.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
Yeah.
Can somebody
Yeah.
mute whatever's going on there?
Yeah, different.
Oh, my headphone, I couldn't hear anybody, but I'm going on mute now.
Somebody needs, okay. Thank you.
How are you, Pat?
I'm good. How you doing?
Very well.
Good
Good.
evening, Ms. Moses. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. Hi, Mrs. Moses.
Hey. So we're gonna wait a few minutes for people to come in. Good evening, Suki. Are you there?
Hi, Pat. How are
Hey,
you?
how you doing?
Something wrong with my camera? I don't, it's not on. Just so you know.
Oh, no, I know you're blank right about now.
Yeah. My camera doesn't seem to be working. I'm not sure.
Okay,
What's
so
going on?
anyway, we're gonna wait a few minutes for other people to come in and then, so you're ready then, right?
Oh, yep.
Even though I
Sounds
can't
good.
see you, you're good.
Yes.
Great, thanks.
How are you doing?
Good.
And you want me to take the minutes tonight?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
on.
right.
You're on tonight. Hello, Esteban. I saw you on television, you know. I saw you with the protest. I can't hear you. You're still muted.
We still can't hear you, Esteban. We can see you talking, but we can't hear you.
We didn't get up to read the lips yet. Not yet, not yet.
How about now? You can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Hey, Esteban.
Yeah,
Hello, how you doing?
how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Sorry I had to miss the last meeting. It was a
Yeah, I saw you
crazy-
on television, so I know.
yeah. Yeah, good times.
They
It's
even
funny
gave
because
you,
like when
they even let you talk for a couple of minutes.
I know. I'm not used to being on network TV. Like I do like News 12 and like, some other like smaller stuff, but like this was on the network. So, very exciting.
What protest was it? Hey, Esteban, what
Hey, how
protest?
you doing? So I was on ABC on one night and I was on CBS, I think on another. Mostly, it was like during that week of the expiring eviction moratorium. So, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Still kicking it.
So we'll wait, Suki, we'll wait 3 more minutes and then I'll be ready to start. Okay, Suki, we can start now. It is 7:10.
Okay.
All right. I just want to say the rules of order for Community Board 9 are in place. But since we're on Zoom, we're just going to ask everybody to like raise their hand, with Zoom, and then I want you all to kind of mute yourself until you're called upon. And just in reference to the rules of order, the main thing is that we try to respect each other in terms of, even if we disagree, we still like to hear the other person out. Everybody has their voice. So with that said, I just want to welcome the committee members and also our community guests. So again, welcome everybody. We're going to go into old business. We're going to try to do an update well, anyway, let's do an update on the resubmission of Fenimore Street Block Association down zoning application. As far as I know, there's absolutely nothing new thus far. Mia, am I correct?
Yes, you are correct, Mrs. Moses. We have not heard any updates from the Block Association membership, nor DCP, so there are no updates at this time.
Okay,
And we haven't been provided any documentation from either of the parties.
okay, great. Update on a public hearing for 341 Troy Avenue. I think that was, it was canceled, as far as I know, for 341, or postponed at this particular time. Because I don't
Yeah.
have anything new on that either.
Yes, we received the agenda from the Boards of Standards and Appeals, and it seemed as the representative, Mr. Goldstein, he had a few items on their agenda, as I guess he represented a few different projects, and for that particular project on Troy Avenue, he had asked for a postponement. So they did not appear.
Oh, okay. Does everybody know what's happening with 341 Troy Avenue? Do you know why we're speaking about it? Is everybody familiar with it? Mia, can you just bring them up to date in reference to 341?
Sure. For 341 Troy Avenue, the representative appeared at the previous meeting, I'm sorry, not December, was it? To basically give an explanation that they were seeking an extension to initiate construction on the site and do environmental remediation on the site as well. They had cited that COVID had delayed them, and then delays in terms of finalizing the project. And that this project originally appeared at CB9, I want to say 2010, 2011. It was initially, it came before the board, and it was provided support after it was modified. So the only thing that they were seeking from the Board of Standards and Appeals was for an extension in time in initiating construction.
Right. And it's I think it's a permit for a 4-story and penthouse residential building. Am I correct? In an R4 district.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll recirculate the documents just so that everyone remains aware about what the project is in this original capacity and what they're currently seeking to put there.
Great. So we're doing good. Nothing's happening anywhere. We have an update on 1 Sullivan development. Suki, Suki,
Yes.
can you speak in reference to that, because we do have an update on that 1 Sullivan Place.
So just to recap what we talked about last time, that development is going up to 12 stories, and the top 3 stories are cantilevered over the adjacent building. And the reason they were able to do that is they bought air rights from that building. And going back to last spring, there had been concerns from the tenants of the adjacent building that the fire exit was being blocked because the zoning allowed them to fill their entire lot. It's a corner lot. But what they ended up doing after we filed an objection with the Department of Buildings is they're leaving a little bit of space on the lot and going over the next door building instead. So that's and then Pat, you had an update.
Yes, as far as I know, there were no violations. As a matter of fact, they said the overhanging beams were approved as a part of the plan. So I'm not sure where anybody would go from there. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
I
thus
can
far, that's-
piggyback that as well. The
Okay.
last time the DOB was on the site was January 20th. They observed the conditions and noted no violations, and there's a tenant protection plan in place for the neighboring building. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm
No, I see
sorry.
So-
has a question.
Yeah, would it be wise to maybe get back in touch with some of the tenants, which I can do actually, and because even if DOB didn't find any violations, that doesn't necessarily mean that there weren't any.
Most definitely. I actually reached
like-
out to the gentleman who
Okay.
actually brought the initial concerns to the attention of
Okay.
CB9, Mr. Newman, and I'm just
Right.
awaiting a response. And that was before DOB went out. I reached out to him to see if he himself or any of the members of the association would like to bring any other or any new concerns to the attention of the board. So I shot him
Okay.
an email. So hopefully he'll get back to me.
Okay, great. I'll let the CHTU folks know, because sometimes we do door knocking just to see how tenants are doing, and maybe can find some stuff out that way. So,
Perfect.
because I mean, my guess is that something will eventually not be right.
Perfect. Right.
So yeah.
Got it. Yeah, feel free to share as soon as you receive any information, but I've definitely reached out to Mr. Newman, who was the gentleman who kind of coordinated everyone coming last year from the building. Share their
Right.
concerns yeah, so
Cool. Thank you.
Great,
no
so
problem.
so basically, that's great. So you'll give us some feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, Suki, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to suggest, Mia, you might want to forward a copy of that tenant protection plan to Esteban. I couldn't really, I looked at it when you sent it to me. I couldn't really understand it. Maybe Esteban will be able to figure it out. It looked to me like there was like nothing specific on it, but maybe that's just because I didn't understand it. So maybe Esteban, you'd want to take a look at the tenant protection plan to see what's on it.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
I can
I'm pulling
I
it
can
up right now,
recirculate
too.
the docs in the morning to the committee.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so that's great. Okay, so we'll move on. We'll move now into new business. So we're gonna have an open discussion with the committee members, but I just want to say this in terms of the membership. Attendance is extremely important, and I definitely keep up with everybody's attendance. And I feel that it's only right that if most members show up, that everybody needs to show up. If not, you need to call into the office and say something one way or the other. On that note, I'm gonna do a roll call. Suki, can you do a roll call, or do you have all of the members?
I do not have a complete list of the members.
Okay, so Mia, can you do a roll call for the members?
You would have to give me a moment so I can access the email if you don't mind.
Right, that's good. So Suki, pay attention. If you go back on your last minutes, it should give you all of our people. So she's gonna do the roll call.
Okay.
So therefore we will keep up with who is attending and who is not. And that's how we'll do that. And meanwhile, while she's looking that up, we can still go ahead with the open discussion with committee members. If you have anything that you'd like to say. Suki, you got your hand up again? Or is that's the same hand?
Sorry, that's the same hand. Let me lower it.
Okay. So anyway, open discussion, committee members. That's fine. Yeah. we need to know what's
Sorry,
going
I'm
on
talking
with
so
you there.
much. So I've been attending for the past maybe 4 or 5 months the CB8 land use committee meetings, and then some additional meetings that they've had because they're looking at doing a something called M Crown development, which is like the part of the district that borders like Atlantic Yards. And some people have expressed desire to sort of coordinate a little bit more between our two land use committees. And so just because what happens up there is going to affect us here and vice versa. So so I was wondering if there's any interest in maybe having a couple of us sort of come to their meetings, invite them to ours, and just sort of get the conversation going. Because again, what they're doing is going to be essentially a neighborhood plan. And you know, I think it's just good for us to be aware of what's going on and even be able to like contribute to the conversation. They don't like me very much right now, but I'm still there.
You starting trouble over there?
A little bit of trouble.
You are starting
They
trouble?
do things very differently than we do. And they have like 20 something people on the committee. So it's like a very, it's interesting. But yeah, they're not used to, I guess they're just not used to like tenants or non-board members like speaking up, and you know, so it's been fun. But yeah, I mean, I think there's some things that are good that they do, and like there's also things I think they can learn from what we've done here. So so just wanted to put that out there as like a thing. If anyone's interested, just reach out, and I'll let you know when the meetings are, and we can you can go from there if that's cool.
Okay. Any other committee members have anything that they'd like to bring forward? Okay, great. Well, so now we can open it up to the community residents. Do we have
Hi,
any?
I'd like to make a comment. I don't know if you could hear me.
And you're Jay?
Yes, my my camera for some reason is not working.
And you're from where, Jay?
I'm here individually.
I know, but you're in the, I mean, you're speaking as a community.
I don't live in the community, but
Okay.
I attend a temple in
Okay.
in Community Board 9. So I have an interest in the community. I also am a former member of the Land Use Committee on Community Board 9. And I've been speaking also to two block associations who are in Community Board 17. And I think they have some members in Community Board 9 also. So I wanted to make a comment to the committee.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I do apologize for my camera not working. It was working before on Zoom. I don't know why. It says Zoom is unable to detect the camera. So it has nothing to do with me not wanting to show my face. So I apologize for that. I'll have to figure that out.
Okay.
I'm not in hiding. So my issue is there is a significant project that is coming to Community Board 9. One of the three major, the project is called Kingsborough West. Kingsborough West. So what Kingsborough West is it's a 7-acre parcel that is on the corner of Clarkson and Albany. Corner of Clarkson and Albany. It abuts. So that's where it is. It's the old it's where the homeless shelter is. The Kingsborough Salvation Army homeless shelters over there. So what's going on right now is there is a very significant development. It's a $400 million project, and what it includes is replacing the two homeless shelters that are on the property right now. That's by Kingsborough. That's by Albany and Clarkson, for your reference. Another reference would be 681 Clarkson, which is the address of where it is. So they plan on, right now New York State owns it. And it's, so what they plan on doing is they plan on rebuilding the two homeless shelters on the property where it is now. They plan on also having a significant amount of other units, which will be for the homeless also, it'll come under the name of supportive housing. So there's a significant amount of additional supportive housing that's going to be over there. This, just to give you a frame of reference, it's next to a new homeless shelter that they built without, I think, even the Community Board 9 even knowing about it that much. It was, there's another one that's at, it's called, I think, like the name of it is, I think it's New Horizons, but there's another brand new homeless shelter. It came in 2017. If somebody knows the name of it, it's either New Horizons or some name of it, but it's a 100-unit. And what it is it's a single men's homeless shelter. So Community Board 9 is going to have 2 single men's homeless shelters next to each other on the same block. I don't know how many other community boards have that. And that's in addition to all the other stuff that's the other facilities. So the question then becomes, does this $400 million project, which is going to be a massive amount of units and housing, does this have to go before the ULURP committee? Okay. And I think that some individuals or organizations or whoever it is may try to pass by the ULURP committee and get this done without it. And this stands in a tremendous, right now, New York State, just to give you context, New York State owns the land. Okay, New York State has it in ownership of the land. It's going to go from public land, selling it to a private developer who is going to take ownership of it. And that's in a very big concept of, does Community Board 9, are they okay with public land being sold to a private interest? Because that changes things a lot. The Canva, this is right next door to the 2 developments with Canva. Canva has, there's 2 massive developments which have a significant amount of homeless on the other sides of the corner. There's 2 Canva developments on Albany and Clarkson. And that came through, but that was a lease. They leased the land. They didn't sell it. It was a 99-year lease. So the issue is the Community Board 9, the ULURP committee, going to be involved in this? And the two bases in which it can be involved is, number one is they want a zoning change. They want to change it to where they can have 6 to 8 story buildings. Okay. And it's a large amount of housing that's on it. So basis number one is they need a zoning change. Okay. So that's why I think ULURP should be part of it. The second basis is that this big development, the way it works is it's going to go from the state to the private developer, but the city has a right of reverter in the deed. So one of the provisions of ULURP is that, it has to be where the city owns it. That's one of the provisions where you can get in, besides the zoning. But this is something where the original deed says that the city, Kings County, gave this land to the state. They gave it years ago. And in the deed, they said, when it stops being used for hospital uses, it reverts back to the city. So the city has something called a right of reverter. So if the ULURP committee chooses to get involved with this, the two bases are they're asking for a zoning change, and they're asking, and it also there's a right of reverter. And the scale of the project is very big. You're talking about a massive amount of units. You're talking about two additional homeless shelters, which they're going to build in addition to the third. So Clarkson Avenue is going to have homeless shelter after homeless shelter after homeless shelter. It's going to have, you got the two existing supportive housing units, which came about when I was on the, close to the time when I was on the committee. Those were like $99 million, and another one was like 50 million, and a large part of it was homeless. They call it supportive housing, but a large amount of the supportive housing is homeless. It's still, so you have two on one side of the street. They're going to build two more, so you got 4 total, okay? They put a 5th one in called this Breaking Ground. That's the name of it, Breaking Ground. So if anybody wants to Google it, the name is Breaking Ground, 2017. That's on Clarkson also. So I spoke to some block associations who are against it because of the concept of oversaturation. And I think it's a very significant topic, because what you have is you have a community which, instead of getting jobs so that people could work, there's a tremendous amount of homeless shelters and supportive housing. So the community doesn't have jobs to get. And there's also other issues relating to that also. And members of the community in 2017, when there was a meeting, which is on YouTube, everyone was against it. So my question is can the ULURP committee make a determination of whether or not this has to go through ULURP, which is Kingsborough West?
Okay, we will look into that. Meanwhile, Nicola. And then Warren.
Hi, Jay. I remember you from back in the day. You were a fierce warrior on the ULURP committee, so I appreciate you coming back. The question I have, Clarkson, if I remember correctly, is I think the border block between Community Board 9 and Community Board 17. So I'm just, if it's such a large development, is this something that would span across the two community boards? Like, where does it reside on Clarkson?
Sure.
Is it really CB9 or is it CB17?
Sure, I can answer that. Is this Ms. Cox who's speaking?
Yes.
Ms. Cox? Is this Nicola
Yes,
Cox?
Nicola.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this is entirely in Community Board 9. It is entirely in Community Board 9 jurisdiction. And I have also mentioned the issue to Community Board 17 as well. I've told them the issue, that it's out there, and they recently are aware of this. And you know, it's something where many times you see in the news, they say things where people say they're against it, and then they say, oh, we were never told about it, we didn't know about it, we didn't inform anybody. But I'll tell you, this project, in my humble opinion, I have other information where if maybe I could send it, the other information to whoever.
Well, if you have any information, you could send it into the Community Board 9, because I'm not aware of what you're speaking about.
Sure,
And,
sure.
You can send any information you have into Community Board 9, and they will ensure that we get it. Are you finished, Nicola? With Warren?
Hey, Jay, I remember you own a house on Maple Street or near that?
I used to own a house on Schenectady, but as a result of all my community board work and volunteer work, I had to sell.
Okay.
I'm just
So
kidding. I did
no,
sell.
Jay, I remember you exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
just to define things,
Yeah.
I think in terms of a timeline for your process, the process is that Community Board 9 can get involved once the deed is transferred to the state to the private developer. Anything that the state does or any buildings that they do, that's beyond our pay grade. So that's the story. So as soon as you know of a transfer of deed, then we can get involved.
Okay.
And if you remember, Jay,
Yes.
and if you remember with Breaking Ground, okay, which I remember very well, once the title was transferred, Breaking Ground came to us for approval. So until that happens, I don't think the community board has any action. And I appreciate your input, but please let us know when the transfer of the deed takes place, and then we can work on it.
Okay, I just want to respond to that if I can, Mr. Burke. Currently, the New York State has it. It's the ownership is New York State has it in the deed, so it's not being transferred to New York State. New York State is
No, Jay, I said when the deed is transferred to the private developer.
Okay, my response to that is the worst thing that you can do, because then you transfer the deed to the developer, you give them more time to do everything.
Jay, we can't, Jay, it's beyond our pay grade to interfere with the state is doing.
It deals with.
And Jay, I know you very well, okay? We will check into it, but in the interim, until there's an action that the board can take, we can't take it. So when you have more information, let us know. If you're asking us to intercede with the state, that's really something beyond the community board's pay grade. So thank you.
it doesn't deal with just the state, it's the city. The city has a
It's
right
not
of
the city,
decision.
Jay, it's not the city.
The city
If
has,
any, it's Jay, I know you very well. And I
that's
remember
irrelevant,
when you owned a home and you were
right?
against that homeless shelter and all that
Right.
stuff. And it's been built and everything's worked out fine. Okay, so all I can tell you is that you can debate and plead how you like, and we're happy to take action, but we need a basis where it becomes in terms of our business. So I don't know what you want us to do. I suggest that if you're concerned with the city, to go to Eric Adams. If you're concerned with the state, to go to the representatives who represent us in the state. And we can go from there. But as soon as the deed transfers, then we have the reason to enter into this. So thank you.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
excuse me.
Just a second, what Mrs.
Yeah.
Moses said, Mr. Sword.
Yeah.
Any information that you would like to share with the board, please contact the office in the morning so that I can provide you with the email address so you can find it on our website, so that I can share the information that you have with the committee, and they can discuss amongst themselves via email or at the next meeting. I'd appreciate that.
Sure,
Yes,
thank you.
I would too, because I'm really not aware what you're saying.
Yeah, and for those who are not very sure what he's speaking about, this project was announced when then Governor Cuomo came down to Brooklyn, along with our Assemblywoman Diana Richardson, as a part of the Vital Brooklyn Initiative. For those who are unaware, if you have a moment after the meeting or in between meetings, please Google Vital Brooklyn, and that project is a part of the initiative of an infusion of housing downstate, and particularly here in CB9.
I'm saying, you said go to what?
You can Google Vital Brooklyn.
Vital.
Yes, the then Governor Cuomo came down and made that announcement alongside then Assemblywoman Diana Richardson, announcing this project. I believe it was late July or mid-July.
Excuse
Just
me,
for your
part of
reference.
the rebuilding of Kingsborough Hospital.
No, it has
as
nothing to
part
do with
of
the
that
hospital.
Brooklyn?
No, that's two different things.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Suki?
Yeah, so I absolutely concur with what both Warren and Mia are saying. Thank you for coming to the committee, Jay, to raise the issue. I think we do need to be very aware of what's going on. Vital Brooklyn is the Kingsborough development, and Jay, if you can just tell us how many units that Kingsborough development you're talking about is, that would be helpful. I know that other parts of Vital Brooklyn, which are further west on Clarkson Avenue, like there's going to be one, I think, in the manufacturing district, either between Rogers and Nostrand. That one is something like 150 units of housing. It's going to be some affordable housing. Some of it will go to youth aging out of foster care. I think there might even be at least one more that's in
Yeah, I'm looking
outside of
online. It says a
Kingsborough.
North Campus, 266 units.
That's Kingsborough West.
It says Center North Campus.
I think that we,
Just to be quite honest, I'll do a little bit more research to break
Right.
down exactly what the layout is and just send it to committee. Or maybe I see Esteban has his
Yeah.
hand up. So he
Yeah,
can
I mean,
speak
my
more in depth.
understanding was that Vital Brooklyn in total, which also included Bronzeville and East New York, was going to build about 1,000 units of housing. And the part that was coming to CB9 was like not all of it. I mean, it was, but last time, like Jay, if you have the exact numbers on Kingsborough West and you can let us know, that would be very helpful. The other thing is, the reason that we don't have jurisdiction over the zoning at this point is because when it's state owned, their rights supersede ours. This is exactly what happened with Atlantic Yards. They are required to hold a public hearing, but we do not, that will not go through us. So what we need, send us the deed, send us the information about the transfer, like Warren said. You know, even if we're not able to do anything about that, we should get the word out about any public hearings. They're also, as you say, it's going to be a large development. They will be required to do an environmental impact assessment and hearings for the environmental impact. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But I concur with Warren that we need to see the deed. We need to know when it's being transferred. And then, you know, we can.
Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on it because the committee really needs to get information so we know exactly what we're really dealing with. You know, since it crosses over into other.
And just FYI, Jay, I think Senator Myrie actually introduced a bill at some point to try and make these kind of state actions on city land go through city ULURP, but I don't know where that bill has gone. I have not heard that it's passed.
What I'm saying at this point.
And that was going to be my question. Can we get one of our representatives, Senator Myrie, or I know Diana Richardson is transitioning, but she was very involved with Vital Brooklyn. Can one of them come and just give a presentation of the current status of this project and the potential impact, number of units that are being planned for this community? Even if we don't have a quote role, it's impacting our community and we should have some awareness about what's being planned.
Okay, Esteban?
Yeah, I can check in with Diana. She's working for the borough president now, the deputy borough president, but I'm sure she would be happy to do that. So Jay, I agree on the issue of the state giving away land to private developers, even though it is a nonprofit. That's not the greatest thing. However, and it is 900 units. It's 900 units and a grocery store and I think some basketball courts, 2 homeless shelters, but also senior housing, supportive housing, and so like I just want to make sure that we understand like supportive housing is not the same as a shelter. Supportive housing is permanent housing with social services and support for people to be able to stay in their homes. New York State is thousands of units behind what they've promised. And this is in terms of like what you can do for you know the homeless population on an immediate level to house them permanently. This is the best way to do it. So so it's going to be interesting. I do think that we should keep an eye on it, and I do agree that this is a state level thing. Like the state can pretty much, the state and Empire State Development Corporation can pretty much do whatever they want when it comes to these things. But if we are involved and if we make a lot of noise, then we can get things to shift and make them, you know, more amenable to what we want. So so I do agree that we should be paying attention, but I just want to make sure that we're characterizing what's actually happening. And then if y'all want me to invite Diana to come speak about it, I'm sure she's happy to do so.
Well, I don't want to make any noise at this point until I get some information into the committee so that we know exactly what we're talking about and what we're dealing with. I don't want to make any noise until I get some information. John, you wanted to say something?
I did, yeah. I sent to the CB9 email address a couple links to a couple of articles. One in YIMBY, which is like a blog site, which talks about the development, and then another is another community. I forget where it was from, but it's so they both describe the project in similar terms. They have different. There's some renderings in there to the pretty pictures to show you what it's like. So, but I agree with Esteban that I think we all are aware that there's a huge deficit in the need for supported social services across the board, for all the full range of that. And so I think we need to approach this with very open minds and hearts. And I think, again, as part of our role is when we can, we should do what we can to improve these, both for the people in the development as well as within the community.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else before I close this out?
Can I make one last comment?
Yeah, but you got to hurry up because you're taking up a lot of time and I got to move on.
Sure, absolutely. The comments on the supportive housing. a large segment of the supportive housing is they feed in from the homeless shelters. So that was just my only point on that. I agree with that. There's a need to do things for the homeless and the supportive housing. My point is that there should be a fair share where it should be allocated amongst all the communities so that there's a fair share and it's not segregated. Clarkson Avenue is becoming segregated with everything. And I'll end with the New York State Attorney General. If you look at the RFP, has a final say in this. So Letitia James, the New York State Attorney General, was in a very heated meeting with the entire community. And she said that your community is a dumping ground for all these social services. That's what she said, was a dumping ground. It's on video.
Well, I'm gonna have to cut you off on that note. We hear what you're saying, and again, we're not gonna make any, at least I'm not, one way or the other until I kind of know what the facts are and exactly what we're dealing with. On that note, thank you very much. And anyone else, we're gonna move on. Does anyone else from the community have anything they want to bring forward? Okay, great. Mia, do you have the attendance so that we can do a roll call so I can know exactly what members are here?
I sure do. Let me call the roll. Esteban Garan.
Here.
Felice Robertson.
Here, present.
John Craver. Thank you.
I'm here.
I see you. Thank you. Lorianne Wosley.
Here.
Thanks. Nicola Cox.
Here.
Thank you. Mrs. Moses.
Here.
Suki.
Here.
Thank you. Tom Thomas.
Here.
And Warren Burke.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Everyone's
So,
here.
Everyone is here. That's great. I love it. So before we end, Police, you were shaking your head. I could see you, Did you want to say something? Because you were shaking your head in and out, but you never said anything. So we'd like you to say.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for giving me this opportunity. I just wanted to know, I reported the incident of the cleaner Seacrest, but I didn't get, it's just the time to get a feedback on, if they're going to do any kind of economic research of the soil, before they built there.
Oh, but remember, we actually turned it over to the environmental committee, so they're going to take it from there. And they also have meetings, and they also report out. So I think you did tell them. So we moved that to their agenda because that's where it really belongs. But we did follow up, so they have it, and you could also touch bases with that, with their chairperson. Or you could also go through the community board 9 and see what's going on. But thank you anyhow.
Thank you.
Anybody else before we end?
Yes. Ms. Robertson, I'll follow up with you as well. I know I saw that email floating around with regard to that specific plot of land in the remediation inquiry.
Right.
So I'll follow up and I'll forward it to you if I have the answer.
Thank you so much.
But Mia, we did refer it to them. They said they were going to look into it. Am I correct?
Yeah, and I think we also shot over an email just to get some clarity as to what's going on, if there's any prospective construction and anything planned for the area at all, just to confirm what exactly is taking place there, if anything at all.
Great. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, anyone else before I end the meeting?
Yes, hi. This is Diane Wheelis Shepherd, and I'm a community resident, and I am also a community resident who sit on the housing committee. I just wanted to ask a question. The last time I was with the ULURP meeting, one of the things that I was directed to was the Department of City Planning, because my interest was to learn a little more about zoning in this neighborhood, Community Board 9. I think I have brought forward that across the street from my home, there is an 8-story development. Actually, they're just starting, an 8-story development, and there are no 8-story apartment buildings on this block. I'm not exactly certain what the zoning is. I thought it was a R6, but I'm not exactly certain. But anyway, I was directed to go to the Department of City Planning, go to their website. And for me, going to the Department of City Planning website, I found it to be a bit confusing. So is there anyone that can just point me exactly where I need to go with the Department of City Planning to gain some information with regards to zoning? And how do you go about getting special zoning? And when you get the special zoning, is anyone in the neighborhood supposed to know that you've gotten it? Thank you.
Okay. I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to remember exactly, what was your block again? I can't really remember it.
President Street, between
President-
Bedford and Franklin.
Right.
Yes, I remember that as well. And Ms. Shepherd, if you want to contact the office tomorrow, I can send you the direct link. And if you want to, I can walk you through it if you have the street address to give you the zoning for that specific plot and what the zoning is for that block, if you'd like.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mia. Thank you very much.
Mia, if you'd like, you can also, if you want to pass on my email, I actually live on the next block on Carroll, in between Franklin and Bedford,
Okay.
and I have some familiarity with what's going on up there with with development, so I'm happy to.
Okay, perfect. So when I send her
help
the,
out.
I'll just copy you on the email so that you guys can
perfect.
move forward in the conversation if you like as well.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sounds good.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Esteban.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So hopefully, Diane, you'll be able, they're gonna help you out. You'll know how to go in and kind of look and see what's going on. Suki, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, I just wanted to make another plug for the website. Yeah. Are you guys, Diane, are you taking this down? Zola, ZOLA .planning.nyc.gov. It's tremendously useful. You can type in any address, get the zoning. You can look at the zoning all around your neighborhood, in any neighborhood. Like Mia said, she can probably walk you through it, but definitely check it out.
Great.
And no, you don't get special zoning necessarily. I mean, there might be special circumstances where you get special zoning, but normally if you're only looking at one lot, that's a variance. That's what 341 Troy Avenue was about.
Thank you, Suki.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we hope that we have somewhat, help you out, and that way, anyone else before we close out? Okay, so let me give you the next meeting date. The next meeting date is March the 8th. So you can write that down, even though you will get information, but that's our next meeting date. Can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Can I
I
get
second it, Felice Robinson.
Great. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
evening.
Have a good evening.
Good to see everybody. Have a good
See
night.
ya.
Good evening.
Good night.
Stay
Good
safe,
evening,
stay
very
well.
informative. Good evening.
Okay, thank
Bye,
you.
Miss Eleanor. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Okay,
Good
have a good
night.
night. Okay.
Thank you.